So you want to play... Well, you're in luck, because just like you, it's all about sucking. First off, what is V Rising? Well, we kinda hit the buzzword jackpot on this one, because it's an early access survival crafting game. I know. We've seen them all. We've seen shitloads of them. Most of them have zombies in, but this one, boys and girls, has vampires. You play across the old vampire lord, and after being asleep for eons, you've woken up with a mad case of the munchies. Feed on the locals, roam the lands, fuck up powerful creatures, and learn new skills. But most importantly, build your own castle. Oh, and you can do all of the above with your mates, or with your enemies, if you're feeling a little bit spicy. The core concept of V Rising is pretty simple. Basically, you go out into the world and you farm resources, kill creatures, and build a big castle. Easy peasy. As your gear gets better, you get stronger and you can fight bigger and more badass enemies, unlocking more abilities, being able to turn into different kinds of animals, and making your castle as aesthetically pleasing as you'd like. Generally, the game isn't fucking rocket science to play. You can probably get rolling pretty sharpish, but I will say that this game goes hard in terms of survival game stuff. Not worrying about drinking water and feeding yourself. Nah, it's all about drinking blood and kicking ass. Now, they are coming out with a new DLC called Gloomrot, and I'm very excited. One of the key points they keep pushing is the fact that they've listened to the community, and judging by some of the upgrades we're getting, they definitely have. We're looking at multiple story castles, we're looking at better weapons, more weapons, bigger maps, or you name it, they're probably adding it at some point. Once you've picked a server that fits your fancy, whether it's PvE, PvP, or solo for you maidenless fuckers out there, you get to make your very own Baron, Lord, or Lady. Customization options are all pretty solid, everything looks really nice and very pretty for a living corpse, but it's nothing to get massively excited about, and quite frankly, I just end up making myself in these kind of situations because I'm a basic bitch. Now you're all pretty, it's time to wake up, shake the dust out your cracks, and get to it. You'll get a bunch of very nice tutorials popping up in the left-hand corner, that's the right. You'll get a bunch of really nice tutorial stuff popping up in the left-hand corner that you can follow through. It explains the game pretty well. And then you get unleashed into a small catacomb area full of zombies. Kick the shit out of them, collect their bones, build some basic gear. You know the deal. One bit of advice very quickly. The tutorial starts getting to bits where you have to make gear using rugged hide. Turns out, you can't find rugged hide in the catacombs. Don't ask me how long I stayed there farming. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. As soon as that comes up, leave the catacombs, get into the actual real world of the game, yeah? Now, I'm going to admit there's not much spice in the early bits of the game. Combat is pretty slow. You only have a basic few spells as you're sort of working things out. However, it is the tippy tip of an iceberg the size of your mom. Now, once all this is done, you will be in the wider world, so do be wary. Unlike the zombies you fought earlier, the stuff in the actual map will turn you inside out and wear you like a coat. And it only gets harder the further north you go. So make sure you're fully geared up before you go exploring too far. Couple of things to be aware of now you've got your big boy vampire booties on. The sun will kill you. Now, I don't care how hard you think you are. You could be the biggest bollocks bastard in the room. The sun will kill you. May not be within your first few hours, may not be within your first few days, but it'll get you. That fiery bastard is coming for you, whether you like it or not. If you do die, you manage to keep all the stuff that you've got equipped, but you do drop a bunch of stuff in your inventory. Don't worry, you can grab it unless some sneaky bastard gets there first. However, there is item degradation, because isn't that just the best video game mechanic? Your level is represented by your gear score. The better the gear you're wearing, the higher the little number and the more powerful you are. Pretty basic, simple stuff, right? The more advanced your weapons get, the more abilities you have attached to them, but I'm not going to show you it because duh, spoilers. Eventually, you're going to need to find some real estate to build a castle, but the starting area is full of a bunch of nice plateaus where you can build. You may want to move your base later the higher level you get, but you can cross that bridge when you get to it. Once you find a nice little spot and you've culled the locals, I hope you're ready for a little bit of farming. Just like every survival game, farming in the early game is pretty slow, but it's straightforward enough. Axes are really good against trees and will give you extra wood. Maces are very good against rocks and will give you extra stone. Simple enough to remember, even for those of you with only a few brain cells. Axe goes choppy choppy, mace goes smashy smashy. Throw down a castle heart and feed it some good old blood. And remember to protect it at all costs. If that thing dies, your castle goes bye-bye. You gotta keep it fed, otherwise your castle will start to degrade, and while it might seem annoying at first, trust me, it's pretty good. The upkeep costs aren't exactly high, plus if you're playing on a populated server, it's really shitty to just find ruined castles everywhere that you can't remove. Someone might take a prime base location, quit the server, and their castle will just stay there. Eventually, you'll get access to workbenches and sawmills and God knows what else, and this is where the game loop really begins to shine. Basically, you can pop wood into the sawmill and it'll turn it into planks, but not instantly. It takes a little bit of time to do this, so while this is happening, you can fuck off and frolic elsewhere. Now, I personally think this is really nice, because what I'll do is I'll farm a bunch of wood, I'll stick it all in a couple of sawmills that I've made, then I'll disappear and go and farm some metal. While that's happening, I know that my wood's being refined, so when I come back, I got a nice bit of planks going on, stick my metal in, do what I need to do with my planks, or go forth and farm something else. It means you can constantly do something while your base is also doing something. You don't need to stand around and watch it happen. It's beautiful. I love it. Now, while your wood's getting refined or your metal's getting smelted, you get to disappear and do whatever you want. Most important thing, probably drink some blood. This is a really important aspect of the game. Every enemy who has blood in the game has a different blood type. Maybe they're a beast, maybe they're a creature, maybe they're a fighter, maybe they're a tank, I don't know. Now, alongside their type, they also have a percentage, 1 being dirty blood and 100 being nice and pure. So what you want to do is drink this blood that matches your playstyle, because they'll give you different buffs. The buffs depend on what the blood type is, and you get more buffs based on the percentage of the blood purity. At first, you're going to have scrap blood. It's going to be trash. It's going to be horrible. It'll give you a nice buff, so pay attention to a few of them, but it won't really matter. When you start getting to mid and end game, that's when blood's going to come into play. Now, at first, you're going to have no way of storing this, but don't worry, you can get some blood bags real soon. Honestly, just experiment to begin with, figure out which blood style you like, and then go from there. It's really nice to be able to mix and match your spells, your blood type, your weapons to really build your own custom class, and I love it. It's great. Talking of blood, it's time to move on to V-Blood. This is where shit gets really exciting. Basically, throughout the world, there are different bosses, all of them getting stronger and stronger, ranging from simple creatures to beasts to humans to priests and God knows what other monstrosities. Now, beating them and drinking their blood will unlock you new stuff for the game. Basically, that's how you get your spells, your tech tree, and beyond. First one is the Alpha Wolf. This is the only one I'm going to show you because I don't want to spoil too much for you, but he's not too hard. He's your basic skill check to know you've actually figured out how to play the game. Once you've drank him like a fucking ice pop, you can now turn into a wolf. Congratulations, you're now a furry. And that's it. That's V Rising, an amazingly fresh take on the survival game genre. Now, I've avoided talking about anything mid to late game, but I'll be happy to go into that if we get enough likes and views on this video, as there is a hell of a lot to cover. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you've actually tried out the game. Make sure to like and subscribe, and come and check me playing it out over on twitch.tv/TwistyShape. See you in the next one.
I've been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9, cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie.